Hello and welcome to Seismic Cinema. It's take two. It's time to do our TV ranking for the second time, but the first time joined by James. So I'm Colin. I've usually not seen it. Paul usually watches things in the wrong order.
And I'm James. I have probably written an essay on it.
You can find Seismic Cinema on social media on X, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, Blue Sky, and Facebook. We've got a couple of pages on there. And you can watch and listen to us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and plenty of other platforms. So if you enjoy the video today, give us a like and a follow. And we're also part of the Podpack Collective, which is a group of podcasters who support each other and create a nice wee community in there.
Welcome to my friendly game club, where everyone is welcome. The podcast where we share, we play, we run and sing. Well, we don't run, but we do sing.
Hey kids, are you looking for a new favourite fortnightly video game review podcast?
Then boy howdy have we got the show for you.
We take a different game every 2 weeks and we review them just like a book club.
You can find us on all good podcasting platforms.
And some of the sketchy ones too.
Simply search for the Game Club podcast and join the club today.
So James, it's good to see you again. It's been a while.
Has, mate? Aye. I know it's scheduling conflicts and all the rest of it, mate, but it's good to be back.
Yeah, it's good to get back into the routine. So just a wee preview of what we've done recently. So last week, myself and Paul celebrated the return of Andor Season 2 by doing a wee character ranking, which got us in the mood for doing another ranking today. Before that, we did Seismic Soccer number 9. And then the last one that we did together, James, was actually, believe it or not, was Alien.
Oh, that's a while ago,
which seems a long time ago.
It was.
So I was just wondering, in the gap, and this might potentially link into what we're going to be ranking. I was wondering what you've been checking out in the last month, really, I suppose, because I'm not seen that much of you.
What I've been watching, mate, I've been kind of dipping in a few things. The things that I've kind of had planned to watch never materialised, man. So I just kind of went back to kind of the old faithful, just watching reruns of Doctor Who, and I watched a wee bit. I kind of started watching the Marvel films again, like from the start. So I'm thinking about Iron Man 3 now, in the order they go in when they were released. Well, that's pretty much it, mate. Doctor Who, kind of watching that, as I said that. Aye, I mean, that's pretty much it, mate. The Bigfoot show's finished. And I think the last major show I watched, like, all the way through was Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah. I've been a wee bit more active, so I can't really remember last time or what I was watching the last time I spoke to you. But I finished from season 3.
Okay.
And dipped into The Day of the Jackal, which is on Now TV. It's Eddie Redmayne. Watched a couple of episodes of that with Aileen. I've been watching Andor Season 2 as it's coming out. So I've watched the first 3 and I've watched episodes 4 and 5 from this week's segment. So I've just got the last one to watch for that. And I've started watching another show called Shrinking, the one you made the wee joke about in the group chat, which Harrison Ford and Jason Segel, which is I'm really enjoying so far. And I took a wee trip to the cinema on Wednesday night. I went to see Revenge of the Sith 20 years later, which was a lot of fun. Paul was there as well. And I'm actually going to go to the cinema tomorrow night, I think, to see Thunderbolts, the new Marvel film, which is getting pretty good reviews online anyway from the critics. So I'm watching Shrinking, Day of the Jackal with Aileen, and then kind of Andor as it's coming out. So that's where I'm at the moment.
Excellent. You didn't really get the joke though.
I know. I'm usually, in my defence, I'm usually quite tired. Right. So James, you weren't on the last time we did the TV show ranking, but it's not actually our first ranking we've done together, is it?
No. Yeah. Well, I think maybe my second episode with you. I don't think I was full time back then, but we did the
No, you're edging towards it.
did the Black Mirror ranking, which was good fun.
Yeah. It's always something I enjoy. I think it's also less prep, isn't it? Because you're writing 10 things down instead of watching a film and writing all the trivia down, and
Aye.
it's a kind of different vibe, but it's fun all the same. So we're going to count down from 10 all the way down to 1, and then we'll talk a wee bit about some honorable mentions as well. And it'll be interesting because I rewatched the first one that we did, and it'll just be interesting to see kind of the similarities and differences.
Well, I've not listened to your first one, man, so apologise for that. But
you won't be spoiled then.
I didn't want to get influenced in any way. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, I kind of felt I had to because I didn't want to like do the exact same one again.
Aye. I don't know. I guess I'll hear if it's changed or not. Do you know what I mean? So that's fine.
That's your homework. After this one, you can go and watch the original.
I will do, mate. I'll put it in the
Anyway, we'll just get into it then. So, since I did the intros, James, you can go first with your 10th pick.
Okay, so at number 10,
That's exciting.
Top 10 at the minute, as it stands, top 10 TV shows of all time. My number 10 is Schitt's Creek.
All right, yeah.
Okay, have you seen that?
I've seen some of it. Watched some of it a few years ago.
So I think when did I watch this? I went back a while now. Was it lockdown or something like that? Maybe a bit after that. I knew nothing about it, mate. I just know it was Eugene Levy was in it, basically, and Catherine O'Hara, I think her name is. She was in Beetlejuice, and watched it. It's just one of the things. The actual premise of the show was quite funny. I mean, it's like a rich family who basically lost all their fortunes because of I think it was the accountant or something like that stole it or something. I don't know. I can't remember now, but they go to this town called Schitt's Creek because the dad bought the town, the joke for his son. And it turns out they live there because that was where they owned it essentially. And it's kind of rags to riches, or riches to rags to riches kind of thing. So and it's good fun along the way. It's kind of feel good. There's a lot of nice moments in it. Funny moments. There's quite some sad moments as well. I think it's got it all, mate. Do you know what I mean? So, and plus I think the episodes were quite short. I think they're maybe half an hour, 40 minutes, which is always a bonus, mate. So I enjoyed that. Always one that I would recommend to people. It's not as taxing as maybe you would get the TV shows I'll come on to probably. But it is good fun.
I think it's good to have a mix of levity and more kind of serious things, and
Aye.
I'm quite glad you started that way because it makes me feel relieved that you're not just going to go like pure like Oscar winning serious the whole way through.
No.
I haven't actually heard you mention that one before, but it was actually mentioned by Paul. I think it was one of his honourable mentions when we did the previous TV ranking. I did watch some of it. I never really got that into it personally, but Aileen really enjoyed it, and she found, is it David was the son?
Aye, David.
Who's Eugene Levy's real life son, isn't he?
Aye.
Aileen absolutely thought he was fabulous. That was her words. So yeah, I have seen some of it. And
the waitress who plays the waitress in the show as well is the daughter, the real life daughter of Eugene Levy.
Well. That rings a bell. So they're real life brother and sister as well.
Aye.
Yeah, cool. So right, I'm going to go a totally different vibe for my first one. So my number 10 is From.
All right, that's a relatively new show for you as well.
Yeah, so there's maybe a wee bit of recency bias in the pick, but I don't know if it was just because it was from some of the same creators as Lost, but it actually helped me fill a wee bit of a void that had been there since Lost finished.
Aye.
And I think having Michael from Lost in the show as well.
Walt.
Really helped. I just like the vibe of it. It's quite serious, but it's pretty scary as well. Like, you're probably going to watch it at some point, so I'm not going to go into a lot of detail. But the general premise is that basically a family arrives at a town that they can't get out of. Every time they try to get out of it, they kind of end back up where they started. But it's a show that's just got a lot of secrets and things unravel, and there's a lot of emphasis on the relationships, kind of similar to Lost as well. And it's a really good kind of horror show, but also a kind of mystery box kind of show as well. I really enjoyed watching it. I've watched the first 3 seasons, and there's going to be a 4th season in 2026, I think. So I really do think you would enjoy it, and I know you do plan to watch it at some point. So it'd be interesting to see when you do.
Very much. I'm going to do it, mate. I'm going to get on the From train and watch it at some point.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I think just to obviously these aren't us saying that these are the 10 greatest shows of all time. These are just 10 shows that we personally like, isn't it?
Aye, it's been.
But From is very highly regarded. It's like one of the kind of poster boys of Now TV. Like, anytime you go on Now TV, it's always like right across there, you know.
Aye. Right. So number 9 for me then. Again, this list was difficult. I'm going to go with Entourage.
Okay, never seen it, but I had a friend at uni that used to talk about it quite a lot.
Right. Entourage, I think it was an HBO number. I watched it back in the day when I was at uni, actually. I think it maybe finished when I was at uni, can't remember. And do you know the story behind it?
No, is this no? Oh wait, I'm thinking of a different. I was thinking of a different show there. As soon as you start saying it, stuff will come back to me from
Like I
friends.
say,
talking about it, you know?
I'm not going to go into anything to ruin it, mate. Do you know what I mean? But it's basically an actor. Vinny Chase is the actor's name, and he's got kind of hangers on. So he's got his brother there, who's a kind of failed actor, if you want to call him that, and then you've got the other two. One's his agent, but it's his best pal, like the kind of the Jimmy Five Bellies, the Gascoigne kind of thing, and you've got what do you call him? A guy called Turtle, who's I can't really remember the relationship how it started. I think they may have been school friends. I can't remember now, but basically they are his entourage, and they kind of seek him to get kind of films and TV shows and whatever. But they kind of live the life of a Hollywood star type thing, and you get a lot of kind of cameos for different actors and actresses and kind of music artists and things like that. So it's really good, mate. Again, that was maybe about 25 minutes long, that show.
Yeah.
Per episode, and it was just kind of perfect watching because it's just over and done with really quickly, and it was just something that I think it maybe lasted maybe 6 seasons. I can't remember now off the top of my head. And they made a film about it as well at the end, which I didn't see because I didn't want to ruin it. I felt that the show ended quite well, and I felt the film was maybe have been kind of ruined it a wee bit. And I heard bad reviews about it as well, so I didn't go and see it. I haven't. But it's one show I loved, man. I mean, the characters, the humour in it. It's serious tones. There's some kind of good themes in there as well. There's Vinny Chase actually plays Aquaman in the actual show, so he gets to part as Aquaman and things. And there's quite kind of funny scenes surrounding that, man. So it's a good show, mate. I would recommend it. I mean, that came out maybe 2001, 2002. I can't remember now, mate. But I mean, if you watch it now in today's eyes, a lot of the stuff that they say in the show would probably get away with now. Do you know the guy who plays? What's his name now, man? I can't remember. But there's a guy who plays Ari, who's his agent. He's his agent, sorry. And Eric, his best pal, his manager. He is like totally chauvinistic, man. He's like totally, his jokes and what he says is to the bone. And I don't think we'd maybe get away with the TV shows nowadays with that and kind of that grey area. But he kind of half means it and half doesn't mean it. You know what I mean? It's that where you just don't really know to take him seriously.
Yeah.
It's really funny.
I think that was a kind of similar. I watched some of Boston Legal not that long ago, and William Shatner's character was very like that as well. Like I was like, he would, he definitely wouldn't get away with that now. So it's like fictional, but with real life actors and real life movies and stuff kind of meshed in.
Aye.
Yeah. It was like, that's cool. So, my number 9's a bit of a lesser known one, maybe. It came onto Netflix this year. It actually only had one. It's only had one season so far. It is getting a second season, which I'm kind of mixed on because I felt like it was. You know how you get those shows, James, that they're just like one season, but it's just perfect, and you're like, that's just a lovely way to leave it. So the show is called The Man on the Inside. I think I maybe mentioned it to you.
It's Ted Danson.
Yeah, so Ted Danson's the lead actor in it, and his character's wife had died, and he's kind of just like struggling through life. But then he sees and his daughter's getting on his case about like getting out and doing things, and he sees an ad in a newspaper for someone to go undercover at an old folks' home to like steal some jewelry, which is a bit of a kind of like wacky premise. But when he goes there, he's doing his detective work, but he really gets involved with all the people that are there. He builds like really strong relationships, and it's one of those really kind of heartfelt shows where you see him kind of like overcoming his grief and dealing with his demons and kind of coming out the other side. And Ted Danson is just a great actor and one I really enjoy seeing. So it's only been one season. I watched it quite recently, but I really enjoyed it, and I think people should definitely check it out.
No, as I said, I don't know. I don't know if I've seen maybe an advert on Netflix or wherever it's on Disney. I can't remember what it's on, but I don't know if it's maybe my cup of tea, mate. But again, you can watch the pilot.
It's a quick wee watch. It's kind of like half-hour episodes as well. So it was just one that I came across off the back of another show, and I really enjoyed it. You know.
Yeah. Good.
So number 8 for yourself.
Number 8 is going to be It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
I thought that might come up.
Seen it?
Some of the first season. One of my pals is really, really into it. You know.
So I think it's on like the 15th season or something like
that. I think that's what put me off, James, is just this sheer number of seasons.
But you know what? It's no like
short episodes, yeah.
It's short episodes, and it's no like, I don't know, it's like a story based like that. It's just kind of, there is obviously some story behind some of the things and what happens and whatever, but it's no like that. Do you know what I mean? It's no focused on like every episode is a cliffhanger for the next episode and then the next season, and it's not like that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's also in Philadelphia. I get introduced to it. It came on Netflix. One of my best pals, Chris Gallagher, if you're listening, then you give me a shout out. He said you're going to love this, man. And then I watched the first season, and then I think maybe the first 3 seasons were on or something. The first season wasn't good, mate. It was obviously the way it was shot and things. It was a low budget stuff, and then it got better when Danny DeVito came into it, and from there it just took off, and it got more money. It went to Fox, the Fox network and all that in America, and it just blew up, mate. It's just fantastic to watch. It's funny. Again, those things, what they say is to the bone and then some. You know what I mean? But it's nothing serious, man. It's just a laugh, and there's every scene you're laughing at, man. And that's sometimes you just need that. Do you know what I mean? You kind of show that you just you laugh at, and Danny DeVito and even Rob McElhenney, who's the co-chairman of Wrexham.
I was going to say, you're a Wrexham fan.
I'm not a Wrexham fan, mate. No, but You've got what's his name, Glenn Howerton, Caitlin Olsen, who's Mac's wife in real life, and Charlie Day, who's plays Charlie Kelly in the show, and it's brilliant. You get recurring characters as well. That it's what they say, and what they do, man. It's fantastic to watch, man. I would maybe skip the first season. You've seen it. Try and watch the second, a couple of episodes here and there, mate, and you'll laugh. It is so funny.
I don't think I've seen the first season. I think I've seen like maybe the first like 7-8 episodes or something like that. Again, it wasn't like a lot of shows. It wasn't that I wasn't enjoying it. I think I maybe just got put off by the amount of episodes and was like, I'm never going to make it through that, you know.
Don't set yourself the target of watching all the episodes. Just kind of watch it, and as it's sort of like, even have it in the background doing stuff, and you'll just catch your eye and you'll laugh and whatever.
Yeah.
It's that good a show.
I think after I watch Shrinking, then I can maybe give it a go because that's kind of lighthearted in that sense.
Is that quite a big show?
No, I think it's like around. I think one season's got 10, one's got 12, but they're only. Oh, you're doing it again.
Dearie me.
Cut. Right.
Right, what's your number 8?
My number 8. So my number 8, I didn't put in my original ranking, but when I was recording it, I realised and was like, oh man, that probably would have made it in. So I was like, right, I definitely need to include it this time because I couldn't do it a second time. So same as you, like in places, the ranking will get more kind of. Actually, I won't. I was going to say my ranking is going to get more kind of serious as it goes along, but it's not actually that serious a ranking. I was actually surprised at you. In a sense, you've went for quite light-hearted picks as well. So my number 8 is Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
I've not seen that.
You've not seen it?
No.
There's if you raise me Always Sunny, I raise you Brooklyn Nine-Nine then.
Okay.
It's a lot of fun. Again, short episodes, really memorable characters, but even though it's funny and quirky and silly in places, it's got a lot of heart as well. Like they know when to be serious and when to have a laugh, and it's got a lot of, like, you know how like The Simpsons had the kind of Treehouse of Horror episodes. It's got its own kind of version of that. I wouldn't say what it is because I wouldn't want to ruin it in case you did watch it, but it's a show with a really kind of strong fan base. There's actually quite a lot of pupils in the school that like it as well.
I've seen sorry to interrupt, mate. I've seen like on Instagram you get the reels and whatever, and it's get the sketch where you've got the guy who's from Saturday Night Live, can't remember his name now. Thing with the Blackstreet Boys, and they've got the guys behind it.
That's it. Yeah.
Aye, so they've got the guys behind it, and they all sing a line of the "I want it that way."
I know. They're doing this like harmonious singing, and then at the end, the woman goes, "This guy killed my brother" or something like that.
I can't remember what happened at the end, but I just remember that scene.
It's what's his name? He's the guy that did. He was in that kind of band that did like the kind of parody songs. What was it called? It's Andy Samberg's the guy's name, but he was in, what's it called? That's going to annoy me. Hold on.
That Dan band?
No, give me a second. I need to do with this. This is annoying me. Oh, Lonely Island.
No, don't know.
No, you're not familiar with it. Anyway, yeah. So Brooklyn Nine-Nine, I missed it off my original one, but it's a really good show. You see a lot of progression in the characters as the seasons go on as well. So yeah, I'd highly recommend.
The guy from Lost in it as well, in it. And John Wick.
Which guy?
The black guy. He's from Lost as well. And he plays the manager in the hotel in John Wick. Have I got the wrong show here? Or the wrong guy, perhaps. I don't know. I thought he was.
Who's the guy again?
Is it Lance somebody? Or is that his character? Steven's character name?
I kind of think I know the guy you're talking about.
I might have the wrong show, the wrong guy.
What's the So it's John Wick. What's the guy's job? Is it the hotel guy?
The hotel receptionist guy.
No, I don't think he's in Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Is he not?
No.
No.
Anyway, so that was my number 8.
Okay.
So number 7.
Fair to us, number 7. Let me consult the old technology here. Go to Odin. Number 8. No, number 7. Sorry, number 7 is Breaking Bad.
Okay.
People
Have
may be
seen it.
shocked. You have seen it?
Yeah.
Yeah. People may be shocked if it's actually low down in my list. I think probably is. But of course, just my opinion, man. That other shows just beat it, in my view. But pretty bad. Like, I remember it coming out, man, and I watched it in real time as well when it came out on the TV and things. So it was like every season, it was like, oh, this is brilliant, man. And then you having to wait a year and a half for the next season it came out, and I just remember what's going to happen next. How is he going to get out this whole thing? The kind of the Walter White anti-hero type of thing, and I always remember like the scene where, spoiler alert, so if you don't want to hear any of this, you can fast forward or whatever. Just when Hank's in the toilet and he opens the book up for the Walt Whitman book, and then realizes the quote it's what Walter says, and that kind of light bulb moment where Heisenberg is Walter White, and the guy he's been chasing all this time, he's been under his nose for all that time. So it's so, again, a lot of serious tones, and how much how his character art develops and things, and you can see changes in him and his personality, how power hungry he gets, and then the changes in Jesse as well. And I think it's funny because I know you'll know that I've rewatched this like recently as well, mate. I've on the podcast been telling you what I've been watching again, but I didn't really like Walter White the second time round. And probably leaned more towards Jesse, and you feel sorry for him and his character and things. Which is funny because the first time it was opposite. I was like, you always kind of want to root for the main character, and this time watching it again, I just didn't. I don't know why I changed that view, but it was interesting. And again, I hadn't watched Breaking Bad since it came out, and when I watched it for the first time, and a number of years had went past, and again you forget how much that you don't know, or you have forgotten about the show. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I definitely remembered that scene with Hank anyway. The scene that always came to my mind was the one, again, spoilers, when I think Jesse's about to get killed, basically, but then he arrives in the car and just mows the guy down.
Yeah, that's right. I think that was the start of his kind of his transition to being this kind of drug lord type thing, isn't it?
Yeah. It was a really good show. I've not got it in my top 10, although it is on my honourable mention kind of list. But it's not because I didn't enjoy it. I did really enjoy it, but I think I prefer my top 10 shows to be in some ways a bit of a comfort, and it's not really a show you watch for comfort because it's just absolute chaos.
No, but I think you got to appreciate it for what it is, mate. Do you know what I mean? I think
I do. I definitely do. I've just not got it on my list and didn't have it last time. It was on my honorable mentions last time as well. It is a great show. I really like Jesse and his science. And Giancarlo Esposito is obviously in it as well.
Aye.
Yeah, no, it is a good show. It's just, as I said, I prefer a lot of my shows to be kind of, in a lot of ways, comfort watch shows, and it's just a bit. I don't know if I'd watch it again because, obviously, I know what happens, and it's all a bit mental, too crazy for me.
Yeah.
So I watched some of Better Call Saul. I watched like the first couple of seasons, but then I kind of fell out of it a bit.
I've not seen that, mate. No, I never went to it.
I've heard it's excellent.
Aye.
So it's maybe one for you for the future again.
Possibly, yeah.
Okay, so my number 7. Mate, this show is not perfect. It had a bit where it dipped a wee bit, and there was one particular storyline I wasn't too keen on, but it's a show that's impacted me massively over the last couple of years, and I use a lot of the kind of teaching and the quotes from it and kind of everyday life,
Mm-hmm.
and it is a real kind of comfort show, but it's got a lot of great dramatic moments, a lot of great character moments, and it's hilarious as well, but deep. My number 7 is Ted Lasso, because like on the surface it's just like it's like a parody, isn't it? An American guy goes to take over a English football team, but when you actually get into it, it deals a lot with his kind of like panic attacks and like some of the players like relationships with like their own families and the relationships between the characters, and I just love seeing like the kind of friendships growing between the characters and a lot of the kind of payoff moments. It's meant to be coming back, and it is coming back for a 4th season. And I'm like, thought it ended so perfectly. I think you've seen it.
Aye, I've seen it.
Yeah.
Aye.
So yeah, I was when we started talking about doing this ranking, I was like, I hadn't seen Ted Lasso obviously the last time I did it, so I was really keen to include it.
Aye. I fit like obviously the as a parody, American guy who did they coach? It was like basketball or something like that, wasn't it? Or something. I can't remember exactly what he coached.
Base American football, maybe?
Was it American football? I can't remember.
Possibly.
Anyway, it was a completely different sport. So it wasn't like soccer or anything. It was like proper, like an American, like kind of franchise sport. I don't know what it was. Killing over to test himself. You know, he was getting laughed at by the media and things like that. And I think there was you're right, mate, in terms of relationships getting built in. The football was almost like a distraction.
Yeah, it's just the setting, isn't it?
It's the setting, and then you get the relationships building in the background, the growth of characters. You also you get the funny moments as well. Do you know what I mean? You're like, probably one of my favourite characters in that show was Beard. I thought he was good.
Coach Beard, yeah.
And also the reporter as well, because I think the reporter, you don't really like the guy initially.
Yeah.
And then he actually sees what Ted's trying to do and what he represents. And then he starts to kind of warm to him because he's writing a book about, I can't remember the team's name now, but about the football club, and he knows what Ted
Richmond, AFC Richmond.
Yeah, actually, AFC Richmond. So I like that moment.
Yeah.
Between the reporter and Ted, and then you got that kind of that bonding.
Yeah, it did have a few dips, but I think it ended well, and I think just Jason Sudeikis was great throughout it, and just a lot of his like wee speeches and things like that in the dressing room. I really liked the Christmas episode as well, where the kind of director of football guy had all the players around his house and things like that. There's one scene, in spoiler alert for Ted Lasso. See the scene when Jamie Tartt's dad storms the dressing room and starts having a go at him, and Jamie's standing there kind of crying about what happened, and then Roy Kent, the real or the fictional Roy Keane, basically, he goes up and he gives him this big hug, and it's just this amazing like kind of payoff for their relationship, which obviously started really poorly. So it's got a lot of deep themes, the show, and I think it does it really well.
Although I did nearly stop watching it, mate. Maybe in the first episode when the dog nearly got killed when he stopped the ball from getting top bin.
Yeah.
The dog not could jump up and something like that.
I remember.
Football
is life.
Football is life.
Yeah, it's great. I felt I had to include it in here anyway. So
yeah, no, that's absolutely fine, mate. Number 6 for me then is Dexter.
I knew Dexter would be on here as well.
Yep, Dexter's here. Again, another one I watched during my uni days, man. It was one I watched in real time. Back in the day, I had to go and download the episode. I didn't have it, obviously, kind of the TV shows, like the TV channels we had back then, back in the early 2000s. So I had to source it elsewhere, shall we say. And then, I would watch it from when I come back from uni. And then so it's, again, there's some, again, you know Dexter, how he is. I mean, obviously, for folk who don't know who Dexter is, he is a serial killer, but he's trained by his dad to kind of manifest the kind of urges to be like a serial killer. How he is, he tries to get him to kill people who deserve it, essentially. So Dexter works for the Miami PD as a forensic scientist. So he gets to jump on kind of leads and whatever, and basically kills the people before they get through the justice system, because they deserve it in his opinion, and they fulfill his urges at the same time. Obviously, this can't be kept up because as these shows what these shows do is they catch up on them, and again, I won't spoil it for anybody, but it's an interesting watch, and it's one you do root for Dexter, but it's not just that. It's the relationships between Dexter and his sister. You get the Batista, who's like one of the colleagues in the show. There's a lot of kind of relationships that happen. New people come and go, and all different things like that. So it's definitely something that if you haven't seen it, I would recommend it highly. There is another season of Dexter after the one, but I'm just throwing Dexter in here as a one rather than the original series. I've not seen I plan on watching the prequel, but I've not got around to it yet.
Yeah. I've started it a couple of times, but like I got like a box set from Paul. I think it was somebody he knew that had it, and I watched a couple of episodes. But I don't know about you, I hate watching DVD box sets now. It's just so inconvenient. I know that's lazy, but standing up to
all my
distance,
DVDs, all my DVDs up in the loft, mate. I don't watch any DVDs.
But it is on streaming services now, so I probably could watch it. I think I did watch like maybe the first 1 or 2 episodes not that long ago. It seems like a show that I should like, and does it take a wee while to get into it, or were you in it right away, or does it just?
I was very much. I think the first season, mate, is up there, but the first season, there's always like a different theme to the killer. Right, there's always something happening or something happening. So the first season is the ice truck killer, and they've got a certain kind of MO of how they kill people and whatever. Do you know what I mean? And it's slowly but surely every one of these killers that you see, or people who do bad stuff, it's not always killers, are connected to some way, and it's that way where what's Dexter going to do here? Is he going to let them go? Is he going to kill them, or what's going to happen? So I think in that regard, it's got you hooked. So I was pretty hooked, mate, for the first 2 episodes. It is good TV.
Yeah. Again, it's one. I know we always say this. It's funny, like when you look back at these rankings we used to do. It's like seeing which of the shows we said we would try that we actually went back and tried. So again, we'll see that again. Right, for number 6. There's a big hint actually. Just quite funny actually. We're on to like almost the latter half now, and there's still been no duplicates.
That's true,
but that could change as we go along.
Yep.
So my number 6 there's a big hint. It's actually right behind me.
Welcome, everything is fine
on YouTube. So my number 6 is The Good Place.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Which is another Ted Danson hit. I actually watched the first season of this long before, and then this year I wanted a kind of easy watch because again it's 30-minute episodes, and I started watching it, and I got past the bit I went last time, and I was so glad that I did, because there was a reason, which I won't get into, why I stopped at that point. It's just something that happens in the show, but I kept going with it, and the payoff was great. Like, it was consistently great. You really get to know and care for the characters as you go along, and it's a real kind of philosophy show. Like, it really gets you thinking about different aspects of your life and kind of what's important to people. And so it's lighthearted, it's wacky, but I think this is a theme for a lot of my shows. It's got a lot of heart and some really good characters as well. So again, Ted Danson's in it, Christian Bale's in it.
Christian Bale?
No. How do you say her name? Is it Kirsten Bale?
Kirsten Bale. Oh, I thought you say Christian Bale.
No, not Christian Bale.
Where is he?
And there's also, I don't think you watched The Acolyte, the Star Wars show, did you?
No, I did not.
Do you know the guy? I forgot his name. The guy that plays Jason in The Good Place. He's in The Acolyte. So yeah, I was really glad I went back to watch The Good Place, and it was an excellent show. And it's a good. It's wacky. Like, see, so basically the premise is the character Eleanor Shellstrop, played by Kirsten Bell, she dies and goes to the good place, which is like a kind of realized version of heaven, and it's just like everything is set up to be like your favorite things at the start. So like, you see, like, it's just like an idealized version of it, but like they're not allowed to swear. So if they say like certain words, it comes out as like fork and things like that. But it sounds like daft, but when you actually watch the show, you kind of get the vibe of it. Again, I think it's a show that's got a really kind of big fan base as well. So really enjoyed The Good Place. Again, another one I'd recommend.
Okay. So this is us at the halfway point then, mate.
Yep.
Halfway point. As Bon Jovi would say, we're halfway there.
No going back now.
So my number 5, mate, is a show called Twin Peaks.
Right, I've not seen this, but I do think I like it. I can't find a place to watch it, but is that the one that's been likened to Black Mirror a wee bit?
No, I don't know.
Maybe it wasn't Black Mirror. It was likened to something that I've watched.
No, it's because Black Mirror is like an anthology, isn't it? So basically, Twin Peaks is a David Lynch, directed by David Lynch, and I think it's Kel MacLachlan. I think that's how you say his name. Basically, he's an FBI agent. He goes to this town called Twin Peaks, and there's been a murder. And basically, as the whole thing is they're trying to find out who killed Laura Palmer, who this person is. And as the time goes on, things get strange and stranger and stranger, and it's a whodunit kind of thing, and it's a whole mystery. But there's 3 seasons in total. So the first 2 seasons happened quite quickly, and then I don't want to spoil it for everybody who's not seen it, but basically something happens. It's like there's kind of dark realm. So like there's people are getting possessed. There's a dark realm. So it kind of goes from whodunit to mystery, kind of science fiction type of thing. It's quite wacky that way. And basically something happens where people talk backwards, and there's dancing people, and honestly, it's for anybody who's seen Twin Peaks and they are trying to describe it, you know exactly the pain I'm going through.
It's a bit similar to like The Good Place, for example, or From. Like, it's hard to explain if you've not seen it.
So at the end of the second season, they say something like, "I'll see you in 25 years," or she whispers, "I'll see you in 25 years," and then 25 years later, the 3rd season came out, which I was like, "Oh, this is bloody amazing! This is brilliant!" And
coincidence.
I actually quite enjoyed the 3rd season. I think it might have got a kind of bad reputation or whatever, but I think it was good. It was silly. It served the purpose, and I quite enjoyed it. I didn't like the ending of the 2nd season, so I'm glad they did this. But I wouldn't give it away. But Twin Peaks is something that you have to invest a lot of time on. You can't sit like on your phone or do dishes or whatever. You have to be able to focus on this. This is not something that like I don't know, like The Simpsons or something. Do you know what I mean? It's not like that. You have to pay attention to it, because if you don't, you blink, you'll miss something.
I was just checking. It's actually on Apple TV, but you need to buy it. Because I'm trying to think of where would be a good place to watch it. But yeah, it does sound like something. Actually, wait, is there two different things called Twin Peaks? Something that came out in the 90s or something?
So there was a film that came out, a short film called Twin Peaks Fire Walk With Me, I think it's called. It was basically a prequel of the actual show. It's got David Bowie and things in it as well. It's actually quite good.
There's a Twin Peaks on Apple TV, and it's got 18 episodes. Is that it?
Sounds about right, mate. Aye.
But it just says season 1 though. It doesn't say
Was there 18? I can't remember. I've got the box set on the loft, but I can't remember how many episodes there are. It came out in the 90s, though. It did come out in the 90s.
This one came out in 2017. Is that maybe the season 3?
Season 3. That'll be called Twin Peaks: The Return.
Yeah, it does sound like something I would be interested in anyway. So
I came out in 1990, April the 8th.
right. Well, some of it's free on Apple TV, but not all of it anyway.
Aye.
Cool. Well, my number 5, right? This is a show I had to have in here because it's one of those big, like, you talked about. What was the show you said you watched as it came out?
Dexter.
What was the other one?
Entourage.
There was another one you said. Was it Entourage as well? So I watched. I didn't watch when it first came out, so I binged the first 4 seasons, like proper binged, and I'm not a very bingy person. I take a bit longer than others. But then I watched seasons 5 through 8 as they were coming out, and it did become like a kind of Monday night ritual. I'm having deja vu because I introduced it in a similar way the last time we did the TV review, but my number 5 is Game of Thrones.
Oh, I thought you were going to go. I thought you were going to go Suits here. I thought I was sort of like,
No.
where you that Game of Thrones. Oh, right, okay.
So obviously it's much publicized, and I don't always agree with these takes, but yeah, season 8 was a pretty poor ending to a great show, but pretty much everything that came before it was fantastic. Like it's one of those shows that's got like some of the most famous TV moments of all time. So spoilers ahead. So like just off the top of my head, Joffrey. Have you seen Game of Thrones?
I've seen it. Yep.
So like Joffrey's death, Jon Snow's resurrection, the Red Wedding, just you name it.
I thought the Battle of the Bastards was good, wasn't it? It was...
Yeah, chaos scenes, but just those who have seen it just recall fondly just the feeling when you were watching it and just waiting to see what was going to happen next, and that kind of shared amazement if you're watching it with somebody, you know what I mean? It was a shame how it worked out, but to quote myself on the original version of the TV ranking, it's like people might disagree, but I feel a lot of the time it's more about the journey than the destination. Just because a show doesn't finish amazing, I don't think that takes away the enjoyment you have for years beforehand.
No, definitely, mate.
Some people might disagree, but obviously you'd rather a show finish well. But it was some ride, and I've really enjoyed House of the Dragon so far as well.
I think it's very tough because I don't know if there's ever an ending that you're going to enjoy or like. There's always that kind of gratification of you want more. I mean, you want more of something, and depending on what you want, you're never going to be happy with it.
Yeah,
I feel that maybe the shows we've seen, I think I've been entirely convinced that could have been the ending for it, or or happy, or I'm glad that. I mean, Twin Peaks, I wasn't happy. I just told you, I just didn't like it. It ended. We've all in our own heads when we watch TV shows. We've got our own visions to how we want things to end, and it just never materialises. Sometimes we can guess it, or whatever. Then I fair does, but I think there's most 99 times out of 100. We're never going to be happy with how a show ends.
I think it's just it was just some of the decisions. I think like they spent quite a few seasons making you really like Jaime Lannister. Then at the last minute, he ditches Brienne and goes back to Cersei, then dies. And then you've got Bran becoming the king when there was like not a lot of build up to him being a candidate. Whereas it'd have been a lot more satisfying if like Jon Snow had reluctantly taken it, or like a lot of other candidates. And there was also Daenerys' turn, which was a bit mental when again she'd spent the large run of the show being like a really kind of like quite a caring person and someone who's wanting to do good for the world.
Aye.
There was, I don't know, there was quite a few decisions in the last couple of seasons that brought it down a wee bit.
Did you read the books?
I read like the first 3 or 4. I kind of stopped at a point because I was like, he's not even finished his own books, so why should I?
Aye. That's George R. R. Martin for you.
Yeah.
Right, okay then. So fair enough. To be fair, I thought that would be higher on your list, but it's not.
Five's quite high, I would say.
Okay. Number 4 for me, mate, is The Sopranos.
Okay.
Have you seen that film? Sorry, that TV show?
I haven't seen it, no.
Nah. So you've heard
But
it.
I've heard good things, yeah.
It's a amazing TV, man. It's just one of the things where again, it's not a TV show you can procrastinate. You got to sit and watch it, pay attention to it. A lot of serious undertones to it. Obviously, it's about kind of the mafia. You know Tony Soprano. In his career in waste management. That's his job title. He's in waste management. Again, he does a lot of bad stuff. He's trying to better himself and seeing a therapist and all this sort of thing. And it's just one of these things where you're just glued to your TV. Again, The Sopranos. Again, I'm doing my best not to spoil anything. But The Sopranos actually is quite the ending of that show was quite diverse. I think not a lot of people liked the ending of that show, and it's quite divisive, I would say, that way. Where I don't know if I liked it, but now I understand it. I understand why I did it because I'm older, and I get it. But at the time, it's like, nah. You know the ending I'm talking about?
No, I don't know anything about the show really. I've heard of it and I've heard people going about how great it is.
You might watch it one day, mate, and I'm not going to spoil it. But people who have seen this, they'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And I think it was why the first TV show probably around to do something is like that, and it created a lot of kind of controversy, man. And at the time, I didn't understand it. Like, why did they do that?
Yeah,
but I get it now. I get it.
I think it is on. I think it's on Now TV actually, which I always like to give Now TV a few plugs during an episode.
I mean, I think you said Now TV about Arnold Times, mate.
No, it's got some good content on it. It's got some good content on it anyway.
We getting sponsored by Now TV, no?
Working on it in the background.
Aye, so Sopranos is my number 4.
Cool, right. My number 4 is a totally different vibe to The Sopranos anyway. My number 4 has came back into my life quite a lot recently, actually. The lead character, the actor who played the lead character, obviously, has started doing a kind of rewatch podcast. He's, along with one of the creators of the show, is kind of like going back, revisiting the old episodes and talking about the making of them and all that kind of stuff. And it's a show that was a huge part of my life at a certain point in my life. It was actually a kind of shared show with Paul. So the show was is How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah,
because I think I was around about Ted's age when the show started. So when Ted's age when the show started, he's in his late 20s. I was kind of the same age. I was like living alone, looking for the one as you were, and it really kind of like, it was a show that me and Paul would always quote if we went out. It was like the nothing good ever happens after 2 a.m. and all the kind of jokes from the show. But it's just a really kind of clever show in the sense of the premise of how he's telling the kids the story to his kids, and it's all kind of flashbacks, and there's just so many things like I've got a ducky tie in my drawer upstairs. You've got the Slaptoberfest, you've got the wait for it jokes, and there's just so much. Barney's just one of my favorite TV characters of all time, and I think Ted's absolutely hilarious as well. again, there's a similar theme in a lot of places. Like, I probably don't like how it ended in a lot of ways, but that doesn't take away all the kind of great episodes and just great fun. And as a lot of my shows have been, like Ted Lasso, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, it's a funny kind of wacky show again, but there's always a kind of message at the end of the show where future Ted's kind of giving advice and talking about how Ted's like making his way towards where he's meant to be, and it's a great show. And from listening to the podcast, there's people sending in me voice notes, and a lot of them are saying similar things. How it's a real comfort show and kind of maybe got them through kind of challenging times and things like that.
Yeah, man. Like I've seen the show years and years ago. I still kind of I buy it on here and there, just kind of episodes and things like that. And it is a good show. I do like all the characters are likable. You know what I mean? They've got Barney's probably my favourite, mate. To be honest with you, it's just the things he comes out with. But there's like you say, mate. Everything you've said is completely valid, and there's a lot of kind of serious things that happen as well. Do you know what I mean? And listen, there's one episode of that show I can't watch, man. It's when Marshall's dad passes away, and that's just for me, mate, because like I've lived through that, mate. You know what I mean? It's kind of that way where everything that he speaks about is kind of like the me as well. Like I'm going to be a bit kind of a wee kind of bit deep here, man, right? But just because you mentioned that show, it's just like when he said he can't remember the last thing he said to his dad and all that sort of thing. It's like that's me. Like I don't remember the last thing I said to him and all that, and that kind of gets to me. So whenever that show comes on, whenever that episode comes on, I just skip it, man, because I just can't get through that. Do you know what I mean? It's like a trigger for me. But I know it's coming as well, because I think it's Lily that comes up in the cab or the car or something, and it's Marshall it is, and she's crying on the doorstep, and I'm going, this is the one here. I need to skip it the next couple because it's just kind of. But that's how different the show is, mate. Because it goes from funny, so funny, haha, to really dark and deep, meaningful stuff. Do you know what I mean? And that's what a good show should be doing. So it's comfort TV, but at the same time, it has to tackle those kind of real life themes and things. So it was good that way, mate. Do you know what I mean? But I bang on the TV show every so often, mate. Again, just if I'm doing, I don't know, ironing or something like that in the morning, I might just stick it on. But it's a great show. No, you're on mute.
Do you know why I did that thing where I accidentally unplugged it? I do it like every time I unplugged it somehow. It doesn't shy away because like there's episodes where Ted is like chatting up married women in a pub and gets knocked out. Like it doesn't shy away from showing him at rock bottom, and it's always quite funny when you think like he's telling this story to his kids. It's like, do you know how they felt it when they're talking about smoking drugs at college, but they make it like eating a sandwich?
Aye.
I love the show. You seem like quite a big fan of the show. You probably quite enjoy checking out. It's called How We Made Your Mother, and it's
Right.
Josh Radnor plays Ted and one of the creators, and it's a great listen. They get really deep on the.
Who's it?
on the
Is it Chris
podcast.
Carter that made it?
There's Carter Bays and then Craig Thomas.
Oh, well, Chris Carter, I think he on Scrubs actually.
It's Craig Thomas that's on the podcast with Josh Radnor, who, by the way, is very like Ted in real life. He's actually got the blue French horn in his house, things like that. So, I love the show. I know Paul's a big fan as well. Just before we move on to number 3, Aileen made a comment the other night because I had How I Met Your Mother on, and she said it's just a wannabe Friends, and I very disagreed with it. One, because How I Met Your Mother is better than Friends. I don't care what people say. It was kind of promote. I think they kind of promoted it as the next Friends when it first came out, but I think in so many ways it superseded it. Like, I think Friends, in my opinion, is quite dated now when you look back on it. But I feel like How I Met Your Mother is still hilarious to this day, and it's just funnier. I think.
It's funny.
Not that I don't like Friends. I enjoyed watching Friends too. Don't get me wrong.
Did you
But
not? I'm sure one episode they took the piss out of Friends. They sat in a coffee shop and they said, like, who went to sit in a coffee shop all day? And it was like, no, no way. Like, back to
It's
the Barons.
I think How I Met Your Mother's for the cultured folk.
That's it.
Yeah.
Aye.
Anyway,
So number 3 is Friends. I'm kidding. No, it's not.
imagine.
Number 3 is 24.
Okay.
24. Kiefer Sutherland and a plethora of other talented actresses and actors. You've seen it, no?
I've considered watching it before, but do you know what put me off?
Number of seasons this.
Because it's
So,
on. I'm sure it's on Disney Plus.
What makes it probably even worse for you, mate? That every episode is 1 hour of the day, hence the name 24.
Hopefully they're not 24 hours long episodes.
No, but it's amazing TV, mate. It's fantastic. It's just edge of your seat stuff. It's like the first season about the presidential assassination. Who is behind it all, and you've got Jack Bibber, who's Kiefer Sutherland. He's like head of CTU. I think it was at the Central Terrace Unit or something like that. I can't remember the name of it now. But he goes like in a one-man rampage to find that he gets like demoted, sacked for CTU umpteen time because he goes rogue, and it's like he just stop. He'll go out and get his man. Like if somebody in your family's been kidnapped, Jack Bauer's the person you want to save the day, mate. Honestly, it's amazing, mate. Honestly, there's maybe is there 8 seasons in the film now? They did bring it back in 2017 or something like that. It was one in London. It wasn't as good, but it wasn't as long either because they realised we can't really give a 24 episode season anymore. It's times have changed since then. Do you know what I mean? So, it's one where I grew up watching it, and it's just I liked it that much. Mate, I got the box set as well. But again, it's the other DVDs up in the loft, mate. So it's on Disney though.
Yeah,
it's on Disney. But it's a cracking show. Like everything else here, mate, I would recommend it 100%.
Do you understand though why it is quite intimidating when you see something with 8 seasons? You're just like, I can barely watch. I can barely watch a movie in one sitting right now.
No, I completely get it, mate. And it's again like everything else that I've said there. You can't just sit back and maybe do something else in the background. You've got to watch it. You know what I mean? So I get it, mate. But obviously, because you're older now as well, mate, and you're obviously busy, it's harder to get your head around that and going, I need to actually make time to watch this. Whereas when you're younger, when I watched this, I could just watch it. I can watch one season in a day, pretty much. You know what I mean? Like it was nothing.
I do better. See shows on like Apple TV, for example. They're usually about 10 episodes per season, and there's like 2 or 3 seasons. It just seems a lot more achievable in my current life stage.
100%.
So number 3. Okay, so number 3 had its finale very late last year, and I was worried about it. I didn't know if they would be able to end it in a good way, but it was the absolute perfect finale, and I'm not ashamed to say I was a greeting mess by the end of it. So number 3 is Gavin and Stacey. I can't remember your position on Gavin and Stacey, whether you've not seen it.
No,
is that right?
I wasn't part of the hoo-ha about it all, mate. I know, like, it blew up and all that on Facebook or whatever. It was on, like, was it on Christmas Day or something like that?
Yeah, but I watched the 3 seasons plus the 2 Christmas specials. I binged it all, like, I think it was about 2016, 2017. And then when the Christmas special came out, there was one that came out a couple of years ago, which had a big cliffhanger. So I watched that, and then there was all the kind of build up to the final episode, but it wasn't perfect, the finale. But the way they ended it and some of the kind of key emotional kind of payoff moments were amazing. And I just remember watching it, and then I think I actually, because my mum really likes it as well, I actually phoned my mum, and she was like half an hour behind, and I actually watched the rest of the finale through her phone while she was watching it as well. So I kind of shared that moment with her as well. Yeah, I can't really talk too much to you about it if you've not seen it, but
It's okay.
no, but I thought it had a great, I thought it had a great finish, and it's a show because it's got two Christmas specials. I usually watch at least the Christmas specials every Christmas with Alien actually, and if I can, I rewatch the whole thing because it's like 3 seasons, 7 episodes per season, 20-minute episodes, 30-minute episodes, quite short really, but a show that kind of knew when to end, but also ended well.
Like I said, I just didn't. I didn't get the hype, mate. Honestly, I know. Sat down and watched it.
Have you ever watched any of it?
No, I'm gonna tell you,
Right.
mate. I know James Corden's in it. And that's all I can tell you.
I'm sad that you've not watched it, but don't know. There's a lot of joy to be had in it.
Aye.
But
No. So that was your number 2, was it? Number 3, sorry.
three, yeah.
Number 2 for me, mate, is the very recently watched Sons of Anarchy.
I knew this would be coming up. This and Dexter were the two that I definitely thought would come up. Although there's one missing. Well, there's two missing. There's two missing, but there's one I'm quite surprised at.
Okay.
But we can go into that at the end.
So Sons of Anarchy, like I was late to the party in this one, and I just felt like when they long. I know you don't like the number of seasons, right? But there weren't a lot of episodes. There was maybe 12 episodes per season or something like that. I just felt like it was just the storytelling, mate, of the characters was brilliant, mate. Like everything else I've spoken about, really. But this was something else, mate. Do you know what I mean? You felt like you were part of the Sons of Anarchy. You know what I mean? You knew every detail of their life and what they would be able to get up to and whatever. And again, you felt sad. There was times where I just like I just wanted to start greeting. I would never admit that I was greeting. And you're happy for some things, but it always leaves you second guessing. Like how can they get out of this situation? What can possibly go wrong now? Like you're asking all these questions as it happens. It's just some way or other they manage to get out of it and then get themselves into more mess and stuff. So late to the party in this one, I was actually surprised when I watched it how good it was. And when it was good, it was like I need to watch this. I'm not stopping now, and I'm quite committed to watching a TV show kind of with that kind of number of seasons. I'll commit to it. I'll stop watching other things as well, mate. Because that's just a distraction. I just want to get it over and done with. So I was watching it in the morning before going to work and all that sort of stuff, and so it was good, mate. I enjoyed it.
I used to do that before I had any children in the house. Was I used to get up a wee bit earlier just to watch whatever show I was watching in the morning. I actually kind of miss that. I watched a wee bit of Sons of Anarchy years ago, maybe like 5 or 6 episodes or something. But you've given it a glowing endorsement, so never say never.
Aye, indeed.
I'm going to try not to overwhelm myself though. Watch Shrinking, Day of the Jackal, and I think me and Aileen want to watch Chernobyl.
I've seen that,
which I've heard good things of. Right. So my number 2, and my number 1.
You're doing them together. You're doing them together.
No, I'm not doing them together, but it was really difficult. So I've actually had to put what I kind of openly class as my second favorite show, my favorite show, second. And the way I justified it to myself is, although it's probably like in my heart my favorite show, I think it did go downhill after probably season 5. So seasons 1 to 5 were fantastic. Seasons 6 to 8, I was probably just still watching because of how much I loved the show. So my number 2 is actually Suits, which will um, surprise a lot of folk because spoilers for Suits. After will I do spoilers for Suits? Probably. Nah, I won't. I won't do it. But obviously, I don't need to go into how much I love Suits. We obviously did a pilot review at one point. I will go into it just for a couple of minutes. The Suits, for one, the way the characters dress, fantastic. The way it's filmed, it just looks beautiful. The offices look amazing. The one-liners are great. The soundtrack's fantastic. It's got so much tension, great character dynamics, some big moments. Harvey Specter's one of my favourite all-time TV characters, and he's actually came back in Suits LA, which I can't find anywhere to watch, although I've not heard amazing things, sadly. I put it second because I felt it did dip from kind of season 6 onwards, but it will always be one of my kind of favourite shows, and probably the show that really got me into like the likes of Netflix and kind of really getting into TV shows at that point in my life.
Yeah, I mean, I've not seen Suits, mate, so I've seen the first 2 episodes because that was the kind of the pilot we did back, a while back now. But I didn't hate the pilot. I said that at the time, mate, I didn't hate it.
Yeah,
I could see myself watching it at some point. It's just at the time I just had.
that's why I held back, because if I'd explained fully, then if you ever did watch it,
No, I'll watch it, mate, and I'll it's something we can maybe do we could do a season review or something of it at some point. You know what I mean? I'll be happy to do that. But I'll watch it. I'll just kind of other things I've just taken priority seems a bit disrespectful towards Suits, but it was on my list before Suits came about. Do you know what I mean? So I just need to go with that, mate.
It's not, obviously it isn't just me, because obviously Paul's a big fan as well, but it had some renaissance like last year. I think it became like the most, at a point, like it was like the most streamed Netflix show ever at one point. Like it just kind of like blew up like last year, even though it ended a few years previously. But I know that just kind of happens sometimes. Right, so you've done your number 2.
Number 2.
So, haven't you?
Yeah, done number 2, mate.
So, I think there's no way I can be wrong on this. Our number 1 is the same, because if it isn't the same, you've missed my number 1 off your whole list, which I know you wouldn't have done. So 3, 2, 1.
Lost.
We gotta go back. Oh.
I can't read your mind, mate. You gotta go back.
I thought you thought I lost. You would immediately think of the most famous quote. But would it be better if I went like this? I don't know if you can see my hand. Not Penny's boat.
You could have done that.
I should have done that.
That would have been a good.
So I'm going to just, before we get into it, I'm just going to give my reason why I picked Lost over Suits. So it's not like I've suddenly turned traitor on Suits, but I feel like Lost, despite what a lot of people say, I think it just maintained and built, and the tension grew, and I feel like it had this big resolution, which I think we both like. And I think the way it ended and the feelings I had towards how it ended and the impact it had, I think that's why I picked it above Suits, because I think overall it was stronger.
Yeah, I mean, I watched Lost at the same time as Dexter. It's like one or the other. It was happening both at the same time. And certainly, of course, there's going to be seasons that are weaker than others, but I think overall, Lost was beautifully written. It was a lot of mystery about it. There was the character development, and it wasn't one character. It was a load of them. The way that they moved into the flashbacks and the flash forwards and
Flash sideways
as well. Do you know what I mean? It was brilliant. It was just something I don't think I had seen before.
Yeah.
And it kept you second guessing, man. Like, what is going on here? And how come they're linked together? And they're linked in some way. They were all kind of linked together, and we were kind of having to kind of work it out and think it that way. I thought it was brilliant, mate. I just thought the writing was amazing as well. The acting, and some people was questionable to a degree, but I think again, it was just really strong. The way it ended for me, mate. I spoke about recently there about how shows don't end the way that you want them to end, but for me, Lost is perfect, man. It was done right, and for people who didn't like the ending, just didn't understand the ending.
That's an exact quote of what I said in the OG
Right,
TV ranking. Yeah.
There you go. And it's for people who don't like Lost and they're watching this, then and I've probably offended you. I'm not sorry for that. It's just lazy thinking, guys. It literally tells you in the last scene what happens.
Yeah. They all died at different times, but their spirit came back and like together with the people they'd spent all that time with.
What was it Christian says? We all gotta die at some point, son. Or
But
says that.
Paul actually won't. I don't know if he won't, but Paul is reluctant to watch Lost because he knows the ending, which he thinks is they were all dead the whole time. That's his justification for not wanting to watch it. And I said, "Nah, you're totally missing out there."
Oh, it's like the mystery of all the island where it's got to offer. I mean, how can you not be hooked in the fact that there's a smoke monster out there somewhere? What is that thing? You know what I mean? Like, what is that? And we find out what it is and how it came about. It's just, and I know what I liked as well, mate. And kind of spoiler here a wee bit, I think, if you haven't seen it, but I liked the fact they spoke about Jacob a lot through the whole seasons and things.
Yeah.
It just didn't tell you who. But then at the end of season 5, season 6, you see them, and it was like, this guy just looks normal. Do you know what I mean? But he was appearing at different points in people's lives to make them candidates of the island, which again, it was a good bit of storytelling as well. You know,
some of the likes of Harley and Sawyer, they're just like great characters, aren't they? Just that thrill of excitement and dread you got when they said they were going back to the island, like, and just, but part of you was wanting to go back as well because it felt like you were going back home. Like, it became like a real home for them in like a really weird way. And like Sawyer's transformation, like how much, like, you go back and watch the pilot and like Sawyer's like the worst.
he's a jackass.
He's basically like both the look alike as well a wee bit. It's kind of like Jamie Lannister a wee bit and Game of Thrones, and just how much he changes over time. It took me a while, as I've said before, it took me a while to get through season 1, but I think it was the start of season 2 was when I just got hooked. And then see, from season 2 to season 6, I was just absolutely hooked. And people that didn't like the time travel stuff, like, that was the stuff I actually liked the most. Like, that's when I felt most invested, was when all that kind of stuff was going down.
One of my favourite characters in the whole show, mate, is Daniel Faraday, man. I thought he was brilliant in it, and the physicist of it all. And he wasn't a main player. He was just a character that appeared. I liked it. One of my favourite episodes, mate, is the one where Desmond travels back to the 70s. What's it called again? I can't remember.
Desmond. That the show also made me really love that song. You know, the song he listens to in the hatch.
Play your own kind of music.
I used to pure dance around the house to that during lockdown.
Aye, that's exactly, mate. I came in the supermarket when I was in years ago, and I thought, oh, that's Lost.
I think I've told you the story before, but it's worth just repeating. I watched the show, like, my friend watched it kind of vicariously through me because he loved it. And then he came down. He doesn't stay where I live, but he came down, surprised me the day I was watching the finale. So we actually watched the finale with one of my friends, and after messaging back and forward during all the highlights of the show, it was great to do. And I'd found this like coin. It wasn't like a proper coin, it was like a fake coin. and I gave it to him on the day I watched Lost when I was all emotional. I was like, "Give this to me on my wedding day," and then on my wedding day, he gave me the coin back. It was a nice moment because the ending just pure. I was like, I had like a kind of existential crisis for like a couple of days after the show ended because I binged it all during lockdown. So a totally different experience to you.
Aye, well, that's it, mate. I had to wait years and seasons and things, and see when the hatch blew up and when Juliet blew up, and like what happened there, and I had to wait ages for that to come back. You know what I mean? Like
I couldn't have imagined having to wait in between gaps. So.
Aye,
Yeah.
that's
That was quite nice actually. Our only mutual one was the last one.
I know that's actually quite rare. I would say that's actually pretty good.
There is a show that I had on my original top 10 back in the day, and I thought might have came up for you. Can you think what it is?
Scrubs.
No, I've got Scrubs in my honourable mentions because it was a show I really enjoyed when I was in school. It was Black Mirror.
I had it as a honourable mention.
I've got a justification for this. I feel like I haven't watched the new season yet. There was some good episodes in the previous one, but I feel like the last few haven't been as strong as the first 5.
I just don't see Black Mirror as a show like that, if I'm being honest with you, mate. I thought about it. I thought I had it in my phone as I was typing it out, and I'm like, there's a lot more things that I would put above it. So if I was to create a list of 20, it might be in it then. But I think there's just so much stuff that's better. I mean, I thought, nah. The same with like, I may as well give you my honourable mentions like that. So Doctor Who as well. Do you know what I mean? There's Star Trek, the whole series, and there's Scrubs as well that I didn't put in. There's The Wire I didn't put in either. So there's loads of stuff that I just thought that, nah, if I'm being honest with myself, these ones are the ones that I either would highly recommend or I would watch again. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I've got just a couple of honourable mentions here. So Cobra Kai was kind of rattling about there, but I've not actually brought myself to watch the last bit of it. So I kind of took that as like maybe it's not my top 10 because I wouldn't have hung about for so long, but it was a lot of fun.
Funny you mentioned Cobra Kai because I was on Casting Views podcast and Dan was quite keen to come on and do a Cobra Kai.
Because I had a Karate Kid with him at one point.
Discussed that.
Another one, right, I'll reveal the secrets now. So I didn't want my ranking to be exact same as the last one. So I actually I kept my top 5 were the same the last time, but my bottom 5 were different. So I did want to put something new in, so it wasn't just rehashing the same stuff. So I took Afterlife out, the Ricky Gervais one, which like my feelings on it haven't changed. I just wanted to change up my ranking a wee bit. It was a great show. Lucifer was also in my top 10 in the past with Tom Ellis, which again was a really good show. Community was on my list the last time, but again, it did, as many shows do, dropped a bit towards the end. And another show that dropped a bit towards the end was WandaVision, which I really enjoyed the first kind of 5 or 6 episodes, but then at the end of it kind of fell down a bit.
Yeah.
One, it's just a laugh. In-betweeners. I felt like I couldn't justify putting it in a top 10 because it's just so daft, but it's like for my kind of...
It's funny. It's good TV.
I know. It's just I just didn't know if it was top 10 worthy. And by the way, the show, I know you keep making jokes about it that keep going over my head, but Shrinking, I think in a future ranking could be up there because I'm only like 2 episodes in and I absolutely love it.
Aye. Don't worry, mate. I'm not making any jokes about it.
I've got a good feeling about it. Just before we finish up, obviously you like the kind of Black Mirror kind of vibe. Have you ever considered watching Inside Number 9 on iPlayer?
No.
Which is
I don't know what it is.
It's like 2 guys and they always play different characters, but it's like 20-30 minute episodes, but every episode has a major twist. Like 10 minutes before the end, so you think you're watching one thing and then it just totally changes, and it can get quite dark in tone but also quite light in tone. It's a Thingy Shearsmith. Do you know the guy?
No clue, mate. No, I don't know.
Anyway, I think you would enjoy it anyway.
Aye, okay.
So yeah.
Dark elements to it there. I might like it. Aye.
Oh yeah, it certainly does. Right. Well, I think that's us.
Happy days, mate. It's good to
That was,
get involved in a ranking. I've done it for a while, so happy days.
That took a lot out of me. Actually, I'm pretty tired now.
No, me too.
And people that have checked this out, we'd love to know what your top 10s are. So feel free to drop them in the comments or send them to us on social media. You can find us, in fact. We're mainly active on X, although we do post on Instagram, Threads, TikTok, and Facebook. Blue Sky as well, actually. We do post on there, kind of. YouTube is our kind of main port, but we're also on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Audible, which is weird. Like, we're up there alongside like books and stuff. Crazy. And just make sure you check out the Podpack Collective, because they're always sharing our stuff. So we like to share their stuff, give them a shout out as well. So we've been a wee bit out of routine, doing some soccer specials, some rankings, but we're looking to get back into getting a wee movie review in next week.
Aye. So I've picked 3 films, mate. 3 random films. Well, I picked them. I didn't. I let fate decide. Do you want me to tell you what they are?
Sure.
Right. So the films that I've got you to pick, well, I picked, is The Raid, Mad Max.
Paul talks about Raid all the time.
He'll be getting very excited just now, shall we say? So The Raid, Mad Max, and Extraction.
Okay. I've not seen any of them, unsurprisingly.
I'm not surprised, mate. Aye. I'll fire that into the socials, and then hopefully we'll get a wee return on that, and then we'll watch the film, it wins, and then we'll be back.
Cool. Right. Well, this was Seismic Cinema. This was our top 10 favourite TV shows, although I think we can say, James, that it's always in motion. If we did this 6 months and a year down the line, it would no doubt change again.
Absolutely will, mate. 100%. Next time we'll be on doing this, it will have changed.
Yep, that'd be interesting to do. Maybe make it an annual thing. Go back and do it. Right. So yeah, I'm Colin. I have just proved there that I haven't seen it. Paul has probably done his ranking backwards. Went from, I don't know, but he's first place and 10th place. Crazy like that.
And I'm James, and I have probably written an essay on it.
Peace out.
Housewarming Saturday, sorry I can't. Wedding reception, no sorry I planned.